I'm a huge advocate of SmartScout. But one of the things that I use SmartScout for is when I'm looking for a new category or a new product, a new niche. And I hear all the time, like, man, I can't get engaged in anything. I can't get engaged in this brand. I can't do Nike, Lego, Stanley. They're all hard gated. And I'm like, man, like, why are you trying to look at the top 0.1% of revenue on Amazon? That's not all there is on Amazon. And I like to show people this. They call it the subcategory tree. And I look at, hey, health and household. We see this 1,185 right here. That's $4.24 billion a month. Every single month, $4.24 billion. That's not 1,185 products. That's not 1,185 brands. That's 1,185 categories that all have their own network of brands and own network of categories under those things. And SmartScout allows you to dive deep into any of these things that you want to look to get down to the nitty-gritty niche that you're looking for. One example I used not too long ago, let me see if I can find it again. Let's see. I was under household cleaning supplies, laundry, and dryer balls. $1.8 million a month is dryer balls on Amazon, right? You wouldn't think about that, but there are people that their entire storefront is just dryer balls, and they're probably making 6 figures a year just ordering the same stuff on repeat, right? Which is crazy. And so, like, money's out there. You just have to know how to find it and where to look. But anyway, if we're going to look at the brands that sell dryer balls, what I use SmartScout for is to find out, like, hey, this is a lot of stuff. There's 160 brands on Amazon that sell dryer balls, but we don't want to sell a private label brand because if that's just a private label thing, it's just that one seller selling that one thing. We don't want to sell it if Amazon is the only seller. So how do we find the ones that are good? And I like to instead filter by average number of sellers. And so if it's like less than one, less than two, I'm not wasting my time because that's a private label or a private label on Amazon only, or a private label with one authorized distributor only. But look at this. We've got like 6 brands right here. So in this niche, these are like the 6 to 8 brands that I would look at. The clear winner is Zoom, at least in this list right here that's reseller friendly. They got 32.7 average sellers, 16 grand a month. And I can go ahead and go into their products. And I can do the exact same exercise. Oh, cool. They've got 82 products. That's a lot of ASINs to manually source and see if I could find. Well, guess what? I'm not going to waste my time looking at 82 sources. I'm going to look at the ones that are reseller friendly. And so I'm going to filter by high to low to see what are the handful of ASINs I should be spending my time in versus looking at 82. And right here, there are 3 clear winners. Right. And so over here, the 8,000 a month, 4,000 a month, 3,000 a month, hundreds of units a month sold. Going to go into this guy, see if we can find it. $500 sold in the last month for these dryer balls right here. And I apologize, my seller amp will probably be a little slower than normally because I've got like 30 tabs open to show you guys all these products that maybe we'll get to at some point. But anyway, I already know where this was being sourced from because I looked it up on a previous video, but it's from Vitacost. This is where everyone's buying it from. And oh, look at that. They're really buying it because it's out of stock at the moment. But anyway, Vitacost has stacking coupons. And so like every week they'll have a different category that's like 15% off, 20% off. And every couple weeks they'll have specific brands that are 15 to 30% off. And sometimes you can double stack those codes. That's where I'm 99% confident everyone's buying this from. Because I tested it one week and I was able to get this for like $7 after double stacking some codes. Right. And so this is something that you can't buy all the time, but it's something you can put on like a watch list or like a wait and see when it goes on sale type of thing. And then when it does go on sale, that's when you stock up. Right. And so like right now, hey, it's a almost $2 profit, but it's a 27% ROI. But hey, if I buy 100 of these things, that's a quick, easy $200 profit. Right. And so a lot of people probably found this, but if this is an auto engate for you, this is also the type of listing that can be a gold mine for finding other auto engates because chances are they're probably newer sellers selling this product. But anyway, all that to say, this is like one niche of a niche within Amazon. Like you can go into any category that you want, and the thing that I'll just basically say is like the money's out there. More than 60% of Amazon's revenue comes from third-party sellers, and most of those are not private label. A good chunk of them are resellers, wholesalers, etc. And so you just got to know where to look. You got to know how to find that stuff. There's a couple different plans for SmartScout. If you're interested, I've got a coupon code. Let me find it real quick. So they have a base plan that's like $30, and then they've got a mid-tier one that I think is $90 or $100. That's the one that I do. The reason that I do that is because you can do the niche breakdown or the subcategory breakdown, which is beneficial for me. And you can also do the seller map, which actually this is really cool. I'll just show this to you guys really quick. Someone pick a state. Awesome. All right. Let me give it a minute to reload here. So this is pretty cool. This will pull up every single wholesaler, reseller, and private label brand anywhere in the world. You can find where they're located. You can find what their storefronts are. So this is the seller map in SmartScout. So it's this panel on the left over here. And so we can you can mess with the settings for like how much you want to pull up. I know we said Boston, but it's taking a long time to load, so I'm just going to zoom in on Manchester right here. But anyway, you can literally find the registered business address of any of these sellers. So anyone that's purple is a reseller like you and me. Anyone that's yellow is a private label brand. All right, I can click on them, and then I can find the specific offers. Or like the specific, stuff that seller is selling. And in the last 30 days, this is how much revenue that seller has done. They've made $6,000 in sales off of this ASIN, $3,700 in sales off of this ASIN, and so on and so forth. And so this is just something that's fun to do for me. Is I'll just randomly pick a random city, a random seller, and just see if I can find what they're selling. See like, oh man, this guy's making a killing off of this category or off of this niche or whatever. I wonder if I can find that. Yeah. The other thing is, like, let's say that you live in Manchester and you like, oh shoot, that guy's 3 blocks away. I'm just gonna send them an email or knock on their door, and be like, hey man, you looking for a new authorized distributor of your products? I'd love to, love to grab lunch, love to talk to you, and so this is like, these are like the tips and tricks that people use once they branch out into the wholesale brand direct route is just find what's near you, what brands are in your neighborhood, right? So anyway, all that to say, SmartScout's pretty cool. I love it. It's my favorite Amazon software, and I am a wholesaler, but I also use it for OA. I use for my coaching. But if anyone wants this is every software that I use, every credit card I use, and I've gotten like discounts on all of them. So if anyone wants that, shoot me a message, and then I can send you the PDF with the active links. Yeah. So if anyone's interested in that, you can save some money. SmartScout, you can save a bit of money, especially if you do the more expensive plan, because you get 35% off for 4 months. But you get 35% off after a 14-day free trial if you want to test it out. But the big thing that I use it for is honestly time savings. Let me give you guys one quick example real quick before we move on. I was coaching someone about a month ago, and for a lead review call, and they were ungated in Calvin Klein, and they didn't know where to start to look to find Calvin Klein products because I'll show you here in a second. Calvin Klein does $12 million a month. And when you click on it, and we click on products, there are 16,858 ASINs on Amazon at this moment from Calvin Klein. So how do you narrow that down, right? That's going to take forever, right? Just to try to reverse source to find out like, okay, which variation do I spend my time on? Everything's got a million variations. And so I showed them SmartScout, and I said, like, hey, instead of trying to source 16,000, let's first narrow down which ASINs are reseller friendly, and let's start there. And so right here, pulled up like 100 ASINs that all had like 5 or more sellers. And then if we go ahead and go over to the left over here, we can see how much monthly revenue is. So like the very first one, I'm passing on, because even though there are 21 people selling it right now, it only has had 3 sales in the last 30 days. So that's not something I'm going to buy. Like that's a waste of time. But this guy, $88,000 in sales in the last 30 days with 17 sellers, that's a winner, right? So do you guys see how this can be a huge time saver? And now, granted, I will give you the caveat. You can do this in Keepa, but it's a lot more work to do the same thing on Keepa.com. What I like about SmartScout is like the user interface and like the ease of use to get to what you're looking for within a few clicks. So anyway, for me, it's worth it. The way that I view software, I pay for a ton of softwares. I say like, hey, if I get like 1 or 2 profitable finds a month, it pays for itself, right? And so I just view everything as a business expense. To be honest, I'm not sure where they ungated from. If it was Target, I have seen people say that they literally had to, reapply 20 different times before they would approve it, and that's just dumb and it's annoying. But yeah, just stay persistent, keep applying. Anytime you respond, uploading the documentation, make a change in your documentation, like change the title, change the phrasing on the cover page, do something different every time you upload something, because eventually if you keep uploading the same thing again and again, it will kick you off, and it will say you'll just get an auto rejection saying you're submitting the same documentation. Yeah, so I'll give you an example. I had seen a lead for a random tool subcategory recently. I'm not going to say which one, because that one to give it away, because it might be a really profitable find. But I was like, oh, I never even thought about looking at that category. Let me go ahead and look up that subcategory on SmartScout. And so I searched that and picked, I filtered by brands. And then I just clicked manual ungate on like a dozen different brands in that subcategory. 2 of them were an auto ungate for me. Then what I started doing is I then did brand search for those brands to see, okay, how many products is this brand selling on Amazon, filtered high to low based off of revenue. And then I was like, okay, what kind of distributors can I find near me that sell this tool? So now that I am doing wholesale and brand direct, I just went directly to the brand website and searched. And I was like, okay, I wonder if they have like a wholesale application or anything like that I can apply for. And instead, they said, find authorized distributors, like click here, or where to buy, click here. And so I clicked that and found that like in my state, there's like a dozen authorized distributors that carry that brand's product. And I actually started filling out, that's what I did this afternoon, is I just started filling out business applications and wholesale applications for these random subcategory wholesale suppliers. And one of them got approved. One of them is pending. One of them, I need to do a credit authorization. I found a handful of ASINs that if I get approved and if the numbers are right, it'll be like a winner, and it's something that's replenishable. So that's how I do it. Now, as more for like, let's say you're a beginner, the way that I've seen students find success in it is, let's say you did find an auto ungate, and one example that we used like a month or 2 ago was Lakeshore Learning. It was like math tools and not Lakeshore Learning. I think it's just Lakeshore. There we go. So 91,000 a month. This one is not an auto ungate, I don't think, but if you've been selling for a month or 2, it probably is. And so you can check it out. But anyway, for anyone that was automatically ungated in this product, we went to products and filtered again by number of sellers to find which products were worth taking a look at, and found, oh wow, they got like maybe 10 to 15 items that all got a crap ton of sellers. And then just started searching for them, right? And so this thing's doing $11,000 a month. Oh, it's a set of 4. Okay. And so someone's making a multi-pack of these things. If I remember, these are 12 or 13 bucks a piece. Let's see if my memory is correct. Oh, or you could buy a complete set from the website. Let's see how much that costs. 75 bucks. That's not profitable. Let's see. Okay, it must have been a limited time sale. This used to be on sale for like 12 or 13 bucks, and that's where everyone was buying it, was from the website itself. So let's say that those are all on sale for 12 bucks each. What is that? 48 bucks. It's still probably not profitable enough. No, not for me. But let's see. One of these guys was the single machine. Let me see if I can find the single machine. Maybe it was this one. Hey, check this out. So a month ago, this was $12.99 from the brand's website, and it's now selling for $30.43. That is at least on my seller amp with my settings, that's a 43% profit. Return on investment, $5.55 profit. It's getting 1,000 sales a month. So getting some crazy volume. If anyone's engaged in this, maybe you got a freebie right here. If it's FBM, it's probably profitable. Like, check this out. So the seller count rose drastically a couple months ago. The price dipped down to 24. So like basic supply and demand economics, the more sellers, the lower the price, vice versa. But as people started selling out, the price started raising back up again, all the way to whatever it is now, $30. And I expect it'll continue. And so right now on this listing, if we were going to go all the way down, I'm willing to bet there's not 1,000 units in stock on this listing. And what that tells me is that this price is about to increase even more. All right, we got 400 units. All right, so we only have 440 units in stock on the listing, and it gets 1,000 sales a month. So either a ton of people are going to start restocking, and the price, might maintain, but based off of the current volume, my guess is that people are going to sell out, right? And anyone that is buying now, it might be able to cash in. So if you were able to buy it at $12.99, you're going to make some money. Even at $19.99, I don't know. Let's see what it would have to go to. If it ends up going up to like $36, $37, you at least get to like a 20% buy. At one point in time, it was 44 bucks. Just last week, it was 40.60. And I guarantee you those people bought it at $13. And so if they bought it, when it was on sale for $13, yeah, look at that, 109% return on investment. Anyway, all that aside, several students use SmartScout to find, hey, instead of just this one product from this brand that I'm auto-engaged in, what are the other products that are worth taking a look at? And so instead of just looking manually one by one, you can just kind of narrow it down. So that's how I use it. Is anytime I find an auto-engage, I take just take a look. Does anyone have a brand you want me to check? Like someone call it a brand. Look at that, $219,000 a month. They've got 45 listings, but let's see if any of them are worth taking a look at. Filter high to low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 to 10 that are worth taking a look at. This guy, pass on. Look at that. 0 sales in the last month with 21 sellers. That's a loser. You don't want to waste your time on that. But this one, this one, this one, and this one, those are the ones that I would look at. And so again, I use SmartScout as a time saver, right? Like instead of just like searching and clicking through, I can within a couple clicks find the ones that I want to spend my time looking at. I'll use Nike as an example. For sellers that are ungated in Nike, they can't sell all Nike because Amazon went exclusive with Nike for about 25% of the catalog. And so I'm able to sell Nike, but there are quite a few ASINs that if I click on it, it will show that I need to apply to sell. And when I click apply to sell, it'll say we're not accepting applications at this time. The other thing that I've seen is brands may have two different brand registries created. Like if they created one 15 years ago and then they updated the brand registry 5 years ago, there may be ASINs that were under the previous one and ASINs that are under the new one. And I have seen that be an issue. An example for that is DeWalt tools. I'm ungated in DeWalt and I can sell like 90% of the catalog. But there's a handful of DeWalt listings that it's capital D, lowercase e, capital W, ALT. And those I can't sell. But the rest of the catalog is all caps DeWalt and I can sell it. And that's the majority. And so there's a handful of quirks online. Another one I'll use Nike again is Nike and Jordan. They're all Nike, but in Amazon, they're technically under two different brand registries. I'm ungated in Nike, but I'm not ungated in Jordan. So there are some quirks out there that you have to watch out for. So the best advice that I'll give is never buy a product without first, one, making sure you're eligible, and then not just in Seller Amp, but also add it to your inventory in Seller Central to make sure that it lets you fully add it to your inventory first before making a purchase. So anyway, Lowly right here. I wouldn't buy this right now with the increase of sellers. However, if this starts to trend downwards, it was selling for 54 bucks about a month ago. That's $20 more. And look at that. That's a pretty good ROI if this price is correct from my VA or wherever that came from. And so, yeah, so this is one of those examples that maybe you don't buy it now, but you put it on a watch list, like almost good or check back in a month or something like that, right? Always look at how many are selling monthly. The good news is it's selling a lot monthly right now, over 300 a month. So what I would do is I would go through the sellers to find out how much inventory is in stock. And so, for example, if I went all the way down and saw only 200 units in stock, but it's currently selling 400 a month, then I'm still going to buy it. Because by the time I buy it, it gets shipped to my prep center. My prep center gets it sent to Amazon, then Amazon FC transfers it. It might be 3 weeks before it goes for sale. So with that in mind, these people that are on the listing currently, I'm going to take a bet or a gamble that like, hey, they're probably going to sell out. If we look at some of the sales trends, like maybe it used to get sales, like get more sales during holiday seasons, or this was probably Prime right here, like Prime Day, if I had to guess where those bumps were. But anyway, you can always check a bunch of different things. But yeah, so I really just look at all the data. Like if I look at this and I see 1,000 units in stock, I'm not going to buy it because, that tells me like, hey, it might be 2 or 3 months before I'm able to get a sale. But if I see 200 units, then maybe I'll buy it because, the whole listing is probably going to sell out within the next 2 to 3 weeks based off of the current inventory. So you just got to do some math like that. It doesn't always work out because, maybe there's other people that are sending inventory at the exact same time. And, you win some, you lose some, but that's all just part of the game, part of the experience. And you just try to minimize your risk as best as possible. The other thing is like the whole 80-20 rule. And so, like if I see like right now, this is a low point for this listing. Historically, this has sold over $40, which is good. So like I would be willing to bank that as this offer count comes down, it's going to go back up over $40 again. But if this trend right here, let's say it was $30 down here, like the pink line was at 30 for those 8 months, then I'm going to pass. Like even though it's profitable right now, I'm not going to pass because I don't want to take the risk or the gamble that it will go back down to $30 again. Now, it still works out a lot of times for a lot of people, especially if you get it quick or maybe it's the FBA it. However, I'm all about minimizing risk. And so that's like one of the ways is I minimize risk is like, hey, if the data doesn't look good over the last 12 months, then I'm not gonna buy it. So you just over time get better at like making educated decisions. And again, you're still going to have products that tank and stuff that loses, but then you're going to have some that wins, you know, and you just kind of learn from your mistakes and learn what works. Cool. So yeah, anyway, that's a lot on the SmartScout stuff, but I posted the link in the chat. I think it'll take you to this page right here, if you ever wanted to try it out. So these are the 3 plan options. You do not need this one. This is for brands. So you do not need this one unless you're a brand directly. I'm on the middle one again because that gives me all the features. It also has a UPC scanner, like a UPC upload thing. And so if I get a catalog from like a wholesaler or a distributor, I can actually upload a CSV file or an Excel file and have it auto filter that stuff for me to pull up the relevant Amazon listings. So again, it's just like a way of saving time. So there's a lot more that the software does other than the stuff that I showed you. But if you just want basic search, this guy right here is, you know, will probably do most of what you want. And then I'm on the middle one right there, you know, based off the subcategory stuff.